Government experts have come hard at the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP for justifying the takeover of the Kintampo waterfall by the Invisible Forces, a vigilante group affiliated to the governing New Patriotic Party. Nana Obribwahin is suggesting the takeover is nothing more than sweet revenge for what happened to him in 2009.
What happened to me in 2009 after NDC had taken over? NDC activists invaded the place, brutalized my workers. I don't think there is anything wrong if, for one reason or the other, some MPP activists have also taken this exercise of tit for tat. If they have done that, I don't see anything wrong.
Also, the Minister of Tourism says that Kintampo Waterfalls has been closed down for safety audits to be carried out, but public safety experts believe more should be done at other tourist sites.
It's a business choice that the minister has to make, and we respectfully disagree with that choice or that manner of approaching an incident, a case like this.
The management of the Kintampo waterfall has become a subject of debate after 19 people lost their lives under bizarre circumstances on Sunday. NPP Deputy General Secretary Obribwahin explains his company managed the Kintampo waterfall in 2008 until hoodlums in the NDC forcibly took over the facility in 2009 when the party won elections and no policeman was able to touch them. We can listen to Nana Obribwahin on this.
We don't know anything about it. The party is not involved. The party has never directed, instigated, encouraged, facilitated any individual to take over. But those who want to prove that should find out what happened in 2009. 2009, Abonya Investment Company, which I am one of the directors, we were running the facility. An agreement entered into with the government of Ghana. NDC activists, NDC hoodlums, NDC sympathizers invaded the place, chased my workers out, did beat them up, vandalized the place, broke into offices, and they used the place. No policeman was able to touch them.
Yeah, but the concern now is the fact that it appears once there was a change in government, certain persons who seem to be members of your party took over the management of the facility, and that is the focus of the discussion now.
But personally, we have not. The party has never encouraged, facilitated, asked, directed anybody to do that. But personally, speaking for myself as Nana Obribwahin, what happened to me in 2009 after NDC had taken over? NDC activists invaded the place, brutalized my workers. I don't think there is anything wrong if, for one reason or the other, some MPP activists have also taken this exercise of tit for tat. If they have done that, I don't see anything wrong. People are talking about management in 2017, but people are not prepared to talk about what happened in 2009 when NDC activists invaded the place. They brutalized my workers.
Yeah, but the concern is whether those who were manning it at a point in time were competent enough to know that something like of that sort could happen.
But the concern is that those who invaded in 2009, if they have any moral and legal rights to have done that, that also should be our concern. We are all particular because MPP's name has been mentioned in 2017. We are not prepared to prove that what happened in 2009.
Well, let's do some analysis now. And Dr. Edward Brenya is a governance analyst and also a political science lecturer with the KNUST. He joins me via Skype. Now, the argument since the Kintampo tragedy has been that if the people managing the place had some skills, we could have averted the tragedy or even reduced the number of casualties. But that didn't happen because the NPP's invisible forces, who do not have any skills of managing such places, took over the Kintampo waterfalls. But the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP doesn't see anything wrong with this.
Good evening, Asha, and good evening to your able listeners. It's rather unfortunate that Nana Obribwahin will try to justify the illegal takeover of the management of the Kintampo waterfalls. even at a time that this illegal takeover that if you look at our laws, we've been trying to prevent some of the things that occur in 2009. We've been trying to prevent it. So it is rather unfortunate that someone in the person of Nana Ibrahim would actually see no fault with what is actually happening. I think it is not right. Government officials are trained to be able to effectively manage affairs of government. And therefore, if an illegal group takes over the affairs of government, it needs to be condemned. And I think this is the right time that the president and the minister that have been put in place should ensure that anywhere there have been an illegal takeover of government affairs, that those people should be sacked and allow the right people to function.
Well, there are also concerns that this illegality plus the continuous defense by the NPP is not healthy for the NPP government. You agree? Hello, Dr. Brenya. Hello, Dr. Brenya. You're on today's big story. All right. I think that...
Can you repeat your question again? You were breaking.
All right, it looks like we lost Dr. Brenya. The network is quite bad. We'll try and get him back on the line. But let's listen to the executive director of the Bureau of Public Safety, who says that there should be stringent measures at the Kintampo waterfalls and other tourist sites to avert such calamities.
We want all facilities that are tourist sites that have not undergone a safety audit within the last 12 months to be slated for an audit immediately. The first is we are calling for a closure of all such facilities pending such audit, and after which we can open such facilities up for access by the public. Now, there are two reasons why we are making this proposal. One is to send that word out there strongly and without any ambiguity that as a state, we are dedicated to promoting our own, promoting and preserving life. And so that closure is going to send that signal to all managers of such facilities. And then we are going to undertake this audit, after which we'll be able to say this facility is in compliance, that is not in compliance, or this facility is safe, that is not safe, and these are the things they need to do in order to get it operational.
Well, I've engaged the minister, and she says, and I asked her these questions, these things that you put on paper. What she's saying is that the facilities cannot be closed down. And what can be done, by the way, is that there would be conducting the risk assessment, conducting the safety audits concurrently. Does that work? That should suffice, right?
Absolutely not. It's a business choice that the minister has to make, and we respectfully disagree with that choice or that manner of approaching an incident, a case like this. We think the best way to do this is to completely shut down all such facilities and then, initiate or commission the audits to be done. In a situation where the minister insists that she's going to run or keep these facilities running while she conducts the safety audit, it's a choice, but it's a risky choice. We were going for the safer choice. It is best to err on the side of caution. As safety professionals, we always want to err on the side of caution, because the very things that went amiss at Kintampo is lurking in all such facilities and could strike any time.
Well, let's go back to Dr. Brenya, but this time on phone. Doc, welcome on today's big story once again.
Thank you, Aisha.
All right, so the question I asked earlier is that there are concerns that this illegality plus the continuous defense by the NPP is not healthy for the NPP government, correct?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. You can't have a government who is supposed to protect Ghanaians that officials of that government would actually be sort of protecting that level of illegality. At the end of the day, we have all in the past criticized this form of illegality and forceful takeover, which we felt did not augur well. That's why continuously laws have been passed to ensure a smooth transfer of power. If at the face of such tragedy, you still have someone, even though he claims he's not speaking for the party, but someone in that caliber actually defending that people who do not have the skills should be allowed to manage an institution of that sort and continue to see the kind of lapses that we are seeing, then it's unfortunate. And I don't think it augurs well for the government, and the president and all officials of the party should step up and address some of this unfortunate incident that is happening in the country right now.
It doesn't look like this invisible forces and their takeover, conversation will leave us anytime soon. Will this augur well for our governance?
Absolutely not. That is why I'm calling on the president, saying, remember, once election ends, governance starts. And when we talk about governance, we are looking at the president, not a leader of a political party. That is why I feel that the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, the president, should put his feet down and command and direct these invisible forces to stop this illegality. It is not right for Ghana. It is not right for the people of Ghana. And I don't think Ghanaians deserve this sort of tragedy and unfair management of public facilities and public agencies in the name of this vigilante group of the
NPP. Well, many thanks to you. Dr. Edward Brenya is a political science lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Joining me on the other phone line is Dr. Franklin Baini, who's a security analyst. Good evening to you, Doc. You're welcome on today's big story. All right, I'm told, Doc. All right, Dr. Franklin Baini is back on the line. Doc, are you happy that we're still talking about the invisible forces after 3 months of NPP government and all the noise made about the havoc they're causing by this group is causing? And particularly, how do you feel that the party's Deputy Secretary General has always played the defense role?
Thank you very much, Asha. This evening, just let me use the opportunity to also to say hello to all your wonderful listeners. Yes, your subject matter on the table for discussion indeed is not comfortable. But from what I heard, and I listened to the Deputy Secretary General of the NPP ruling government, Nana Obibwahne, commenting that indeed he is speaking from his own perspective as an individual, but not on behalf of the party, anyway.
But looking at his caliber as the Deputy General Secretary of the party, that makes it very serious.
One would be thinking that such statements shouldn't have come from him, because we're marching forward for peace and collaboration for understanding and indeed moving Ghana forward. However, in as much as they didn't do well, he was attributing to the fact that indeed they did it the same thing when they was managing the place, and then when they came and they brutalized and then messed up envelopes. But that shouldn't mean, therefore, that you should also retaliate. That would mean you are out of, and moreover, you are a lawyer, senior lawyer, respected lawyer indeed, and then you should so. But my answer, what is on the ground actually is that the place that you see there, I have a problem. You see, there has been total, when you look at the invisible force, as they claim to have gone there, if they indeed went there, according to the chiefs, indeed, they were not really managing the place. They didn't know the guidelines and how to manage, because at the end of each year, I think there is a ritual that's traditional, which cannot be thrown away, traditional and cultural practice that must be performed. They didn't tell them, and even basic physical, information to whoever is responsible to trim the tree. Now, what happened there is that on the ground, there was a total negligence of the site by the managers of the site, and again, most of the trees were on the rock. They were not having much grounding on the ground to hold them firm. Trees are all chopped off, so it's exposed to what? There was no windbreak for timber work. and it exposed the whole wind. There was no wind break to break the wind from coming. And again, most of the trees there were cracked on them. And the fact is, with the little wind that blew, it caused the whole wind to also uproot it and come into this. And this is the time that managers, if they were good, to have informed them, but they didn't. And then
probably because they didn't know the terrain well.
Exactly. So, and again, I realized that when you go to the site, individual was keeping or has been keeping the place. There was no government, role play there at all. Government, you don't feel the presence of the government. No resting place, no car park. It's really, really. So I am insisting the government to wake up. The Ministry of Tourism must wake up. Not only that side, but everywhere when we have a tourist site, there are challenges. Now that they have been placed that they were not going to open the place for a time, the challenges are that one, they will lose tourists from coming to that, who decides. And the workers, they are going to be at home, and I don't know how they're going to survive. And again, there's a critical issue. Realize that very spot along the way to Tamale is where exactly that very some time ago the Metro Mass had an accident. The chiefs have a conflict. The conflict must be resolved. There's a division among the chiefs there. Therefore, the rituals that are supposed to, or the traditional performance that is supposed
well, we listened to one of the chiefs who said that they wanted to perform that ritual, but the invisible force people who had taken over the place did not allow them. But Doc, interestingly, this doesn't look like it's going to go away anytime soon.
Exactly.
Are we safe?
Yeah, we will also be safe when we be able to go in the Regional Peace Council, the Alternative Dispute Resolution approach can be adopted to bring this together. In fact, the chiefs must forgive one another and push ahead for the sake of Ghana. Other than that, if this backs again there, I can assure you that it will be out of control. And so that citizenship conflict is a security threat. In relation to that of the recent experience that we've had with lots of brothers and sisters who are featured was leaders of this country. So I'm of the view that the citizenship conflict must be looked at. They must avoid also jobs for the boys. I'm talking to the politicians, either party. We need to avoid that. Other than that, this will be hanging, like you're saying. It will make us not safe in this country. We should avoid party and look at it squarely. We are available. We must look at the private sector to come in. We are, as consultants in security, we can come in if they call us to contribute our quota for the safety of that place, not to affect Ghana entirely.
All right, many thanks to you. Dr. Franklin Biney is a security analyst. We appreciate your time on today's big story. Meanwhile, let's listen to the Tourism Minister, Catherine Afiko, who's been speaking and who's visited the Kintampo waterfalls after this tragedy. She's suggesting that the private sector will be allowed to take over and manage the Kintampo waterfalls. We can listen to her.
Well, I'm not sure who gave the previous stance. We went there 2 days ago, and we made the decision yesterday after being physical on the site. We ascertained that it was prudent to close it and actually take a safety audit, and not just at Kintampo, but across the nation, one site at a time, to ensure that no lives will be lost again to either natural disasters or man-made disasters. So it's only one decision that has come out of the stakeholder engagement that happened at Kintampo and Range.
Okay, what's going to happen to with the management of the waterfall at this point?
What is going to happen is a comprehensive management team will be put together. We do have an agency, the Ghana Tourism Authority, that actually takes on the advertising, the publicity, and the promotion of various tourist sites in Ghana. Will have the opportunity to sit down with the municipal assembly, the alluvial owners of the land, and to find out a proper management strategy with private stakeholders. We don't want it to be left at the instant caprices of the assemblies. It is not a thorough mandate by the assemblies to be doing business. Theirs is and collection of revenue. We feel strongly after what we saw, and again, it's not a unilateral decision. It's a decision made by my good self with the support of the Vice President, Regional Minister, and the security agencies on the ground, that it's time we had this discussion nationally
that private sector needs to take a lead role in managing fights that has to do with revenue.
This is today's big story. We're still trying to get a legal dimension to this issue. When we get the lawyer, we'll put him on the phone. We'll also try to get the public safety expert, Danaya Akwada, to speak to us. He feels that the invisible forces must be arrested after this tragedy. We'll be getting all of that. We'll take a break when we come back. This is today's big story. Joining us for our phone is Nanaya Akwada. He's the Executive Director with the Bureau of Public Safety. Good evening to you, Nana. Many thanks for your time. But you're calling for the arrest of the people who took over the management of the Kintampo waterfalls. Your reasons?
Yes, let me say good evening to your viewers. We have called for the arrest of those who took over the facility. And among other suggestions also, we have called for the arrest because we believe that prior to their taking over the facility, the people who were manning the facility have appreciated how they expect to manage the place in terms of in event of emergencies or situations that they found unsafe for the facility. So even before investigation commences, the forceful takeover of the facility must be considered and those people arrested, because if the original people who were caretakers of the place were around, we are confident that in the wake of a storm, in the wake of a storm and rain, they would have evacuated all these revelers to a safer place, and they would not have looked on while 20 or so lives perished. So with immediate effect, we have called that even before investigations begin, these gentlemen or ladies should be apprehended and prosecuted in accordance with law.
Right. Many thanks to you, Nanaya Akwada. This is today's big story. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for your time. Have a good evening.